Welcome to Design Talk with Chuma, a conversation series with leading designers, thought leaders that spotlights, analyzes, reviews, and critiques select design ideas, topics, and work from across Africa. Today, we are going to be talking about thinking like a designer, and I have Mr. Lexain. Did I get the pronunciation well?
Lexain.
Lexain, okay.
Yeah.
Lexain. So, Mr. Lexain, please, can we meet you? Tell us your name, your profession, and give us a bit of a background, your experience, career, and design in general.
Okay. So, my name is Olaliko Akinyele. A lot of people know me as Lexain. So, Lexain is basically just combining my two names. Lekon Akinyele. I just found a way to combine those two, and so I've been using Lexain for quite a while. I'm a creative designer. I've been working in advertising for more than a decade now. Started as a graphic designer, then art director, then just grew within the ranks and all of that. So right now I actually work with Decreate, a dental creative agency, as the deputy creative director for art. I actually started my design journey designing sneakers way back in secondary school, 1998.
Nice.
Yeah, so I actually had that passion to actually follow that dream through. After secondary school, university, I still kept designing sneakers and the likes. Then when I got a job in advertising, I actually pursued that dream. Tried to get into a sneaker design school in Oregon in America, called Pencil Academy.
Okay.
I got in a couple of times, but the last one I tried, I was denied visa, and so for me, I just felt like, well, this thing, I'm stuck with this thing.
That's just get on.
So what I basically did was last year, I just decided to go and learn how to actually make footwear. So I went to learn how to make shoemaking training, how to make shoes, sandals, slippers. So basically right now, what I'm trying to do now is trying to infuse, the sneaker designs that I used to do with the footwear learning that I have now, and then create something out of it. So that's the stage.
That's okay. Yeah. Quite an impressive career path. I guess we are still on your journey to greatness. And
but I've been doing advertising all the while. So
yeah. Cool. So today we are talking about thinking like a designer, and you happen to run a platform, the TLAD, think like.
Yes.
So I think this topic is very apt, and you're very at home with it.
Yes, absolutely.
We know that design. Everybody's talking about design thinking, and how it's used to solve.
Yeah.
It's become a buzzword, and everybody's just rushing on it. And yes. I just want us to put our own stamp on it. How do we? Let's even look at our own scenario and bring it home, so that people can understand a lot more what we mean when we say design thinking and how designers think. So you are a designer. I am a designer. And for me, over my course, over my career and all I've seen, I will put designers as people that think under. I can use 5 examples or 5 illustrations. Yeah. So a designer is that person that has a curious mind, because it's that curious mind that allows you to keep looking for what is new. The designer is that person that challenges assumptions. So if you are somebody that always looks at things and tries to interrogate, dissect them, deconstruct and reconstruct them, there's a tendency that you might be a designer.
Yes, absolutely.
Designer is the person that dreams a lot. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you don't dream, what you consider to be spiritual, it comes.
That's the number one goal. You have to be a dreamer.
Yeah. The designer is the person that asks lots of questions, constructive questions, right? And then finally, the designer is the person that collaborates. Now, collaboration is at the heart of my ideology as a designer. These are the ways these are the things I think that if someone has all these characteristics, then you can term them a designer, whether they are professionally using that skill to earn or not. So
Okay.
This is my view. I would want to, from your own point of view, your experience in your career, what is even design, and what are those things that what are those things that designers do that make them distinct, those characteristics that you can then say this person thinks like a designer?
Okay, I mean, I agree with all the things that you've said. I mean, as a designer, you must have a curious mind, you must be a dreamer, you must ask a lot of questions, you must also collaborate. And I really appreciate what you're doing in terms of collaboration. And I think it's one of the things, that makes sense a lot for our community. It will help us grow that community, help us build it the right way we should. Because a lot of people actually miss that point, that collaboration is actually in the heart of everything that we want to do and every solution that we actually want to give.
Because you can't do it.
For me, I think I'll just conclude with what you said by saying, conclude about a designer in saying that a designer is a problem solver. So the challenge for me started when you tell people that I'm a designer, the only thing, especially from this realm, people actually believe that once you say you're a designer, the only thing they think about is you're a graphic designer. And that was what made me start think like a designer. So if you look at how I constructed it, was TLAG. The G is cancelled, and the D. So the G is basically a graphic. So it's like think like a cancelled graphic designer. So you think like a designer.
I like that.
Because, so the thing for me really is, and it is the principles that actually guide you as a person that actually determines if you are a designer. I mean, there's a whole lot of attributes that you must have. Discipline. You must understand the basics of design. You must understand how design works. You must understand flow, balance. You must understand drawing from lines and shapes. You must know how to combine shapes to, form a component or form something. Exactly. You must know how to be able to combine things that then communicate something that actually is functional. Design is very functional. Design is not art that you just wake up and say, okay, this is how I feel and this is what I want to express based on my feeling. That is art. Design has to solve a problem. Yeah, design has to solve a problem. I mean, you have to basically have challenges that you want to solve, which you now use design to solve. And that is why the ask questions bit, which you talked about, it makes a lot of sense. In fact, for me, I take it further. I say you must be able to interrogate. And interrogation means that you must be able to, keep asking questions until you get to the roots of the problem. And then see how you can then begin to solve that problem. Because sometimes, what it means, what it could take to actually solve a problem might not necessarily be doing a big campaign and all of that. It might actually be just tweaking something. You might actually just
moments like aha.
Exactly. Like, so this is exactly, that kind of thing. And you can't get there if you don't know how to interrogate problems, if you don't know how to ask questions. And in the way design thinking also works, I mean, there are 5 ways in which, 5 things you can do to actually ask questions. And it's basically asking why 5 times. So if someone comes to you, or you see a challenge and say, you need to ask, why is this thing happening? If you get the answer, then you keep asking again, why did that answer come that way? Then you just keep asking until you actually get to the roots. So for me, really, to actually think like a designer basically means that, at the heart of it all is human beings. We are not creating solutions for machines or non-living things. We are creating solutions for people, solutions that actually solutions to problems that people actually created. Because, unless there's a natural cause, then most problems around us are actually created by people. So to solve it, you must understand the people. You understand? So if you look at the principles of the human-centered design, for example, the first step to it is to empathize. And basically, if we don't know how to empathize, it will be very difficult to actually, know how to solve problems. Like I said, a designer is a problem solver. To solve the problem, you must understand the humans that created the problem. So for us to be able to think like a designer, we must understand the humans around that problem. So if I say, for example, in our state now, let's even look at a typical example. Let's say we have problems of housing deficits, so people don't have too much houses. We need to actually look at the problem. So why do people not have houses? Is it cost? Is it based on what they can afford? Is it based on not being able to? Is it based on differences? We can look at a lot of problems. We can look at a lot of challenges and factors going into why people cannot afford, good living and all of those things. And from there, we begin to now pick insights that will now help us define what the problem is. And once we define what the problem is, we can then start to ideate on how to solve that problem. And ideation is also a typical thing that a designer should be able to do. You can't be lazy ideating. And what I mean is you cannot be coming up with one or two ideas and you think you are a badass designer. No, you have to come up with multiple ideas. You must be able to, so the way ideation also works, there's what we call convergent and divergent ideation, where you basically, for convergent, you have to think about a lot of ideas. You have to think of a lot of ideas. Then you now streamline it to one, basic idea. After you've tested it and asked around, and you can see that this one is likely going to fly out of that. Then you go along with that. Then once you ideate, you then prototype. Prototyping helps you, test your idea and also get feedback. A lot of things we don't do around here is we don't listen to feedback at all. We don't even listen to feedback. We don't put those feedbacks, the important ones, the ones that are good enough, back into the process to improve the product steps. We don't do that. So, for example, a shoemaker makes a shoe, sells it to a customer or sells it to multiple customers. After a while, you don't even call your customers to ask, okay, the shoe I sold to you, how do you feel? After a time, were you comfortable wearing it? Every time you wear it, how do people relate to you? You need to ask those questions. Look at how Air Jordan has become like a global brand today. Look at even how Honda Accord, which is common, or Toyota Corolla is common in our midst today, or in our society. And Toyota Corolla, the way it looks in 1994 compared to the way Toyota Corolla looks today, over the years, is basically that the product has been improved based on how technology improved, based on how humans improved, and all of that, and also based on the feedback that it got from sales over the years. You understand? So I think most of these guys also have like that feedback,
the feedback
process. Exactly, that they get feedback from their customers to be able to infuse some of those feedback back into the design process to create or to design a better product.
Okay.
And that's
I think you've given us quite a robust end-to-end definition of a standard design process. Part of what has been taken out and used to create a solutions development tool called design thinking. So just to recap what you said, design is about that ability to understand the problem requires that you need to immerse yourself in that situation. You need to experience it. You need to do it like a journey map. You need to. I mean, if I want to innovate in health, I need to go through that process and understand it. Yeah. And in just doing that, you begin to see things because you are an intuitive person. You have that ability to ideate and think. So you need to experience the problem. Yeah. I got some face masks yesterday. And I'm already seeing a lot of issues with it. Oh, the seam needs to be flat. So it starts asking why. So designers should always ask why. And not just ask why because you want to ask why. You're asking why because you want to sort something that you just observed that happened. So it's really about having that innate ability or culturing yourself, training yourself to become an observer and act based on your observations. So it's about your some level of experiences. So you cannot just sit somewhere and say you're a designer. You need to go out and experience the world. You need to also take feedback a lot. You need to, and I find this point very salient because designers have a way of having emotional attachment to their work, right?
Yes.
A photographer, or an architect, or a fashion designer.
Yes.
Most times, designers need to step back, remove themselves from the work, look at what you've created for somebody to use, get feedback from that person. So you need to create feedback mechanisms that you can then rely on to continually iterate. Like you said, one of the problems we have in Africa is we don't take lessons from our experiences. So we end up going through the same thing over and over again. And that's why we seem to be in one spot. We are not growing. If you take back that to the Western world or the parts of humanity that have developed, you will see that there's a continual improvement, and it's been in as a process. So you must move from model A to model B, and giving themselves time to model A, put it out, let people experience, let people drive it, let people enjoy it, let people, if it has a fatal flaw, then you can bring it back to that. We've seen callbacks from the automobile industry.
Yes, exactly.
So I like thank you for all the
you're welcome, sir.
Put out. Let's now look at examples, right, in our careers, cases where how this thinking. Let's even get out of design, the designing discipline. Generally, everything about life is design, right?
Yes.
So, in my own instance, if you look at the culinary design, the African culinary design, the food that we eat, we seem to have set menus, like, so just give me a bar and soup, right? I don't see a lot of innovation in going on. I'm not saying that there's a lot, but I don't think we have enough yet. We've not been able to iterate our menu, our foods, to the point where we export them. Now, not just export, but export to the extent that anybody can cook, can prepare. We need to create a guideline recipe, right? So today we now eat shawarma, right? We do shisha. It's not the Lebanese that does the shawarma for us.
No.
Good. So they've been able to create a framework that allows just about anybody to get in and be able to create shawarma, so they can export that culture. Oftentimes, you will see our own exports. It is still us that would have to cook the food. There's a on the high street in Woolwich, when I used to live in London, there's a Nigerian restaurant where we go to buy our normal pepper rice, buffet, Something kept hitting me. Why am I not seeing a non-Nigerian, a person that is not black, that is not of Nigerian origin, cooking?
That is there.
I think, as an example, I look at that as something that we need to move into. We need to start. If we are going to be thinking like designers and solving problems, we need to move into all sectors of our life and apply it. So, are there examples from your own experience, your own career, that you want to
Yes, I mean, even starting with what you actually even said, I mean, the innovation of food, for example, from our own end. I think some people are beginning to take steps, in seeing how that can be. So, for example, pounded yam now comes as poundo yam, so you should just go and start.
Exactly.
That's coming, in terms of floury, and you can easily prepare and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think what people need to start doing is they need to understand that innovation comes by doing. When you do something to an extent, you begin to now think of how to improve it. A lot of times, we are in a survival state as a country, as a people. The first thing that comes to our mind is, how do I survive?
We respond. We're not proactive, we respond.
Exactly. Our response is in that survival mode also. So you are saying, if I want to start a business, I'm starting the business because I want to feed my family, I want to take care of my bills, they're not thinking about how you want to improve humanity, improve mankind with this product.
I guess that comes with the level of our existence, when you're still existing at the level of primary.
Yes. So, I mean, exactly. And for me, I think for us to be able to shift to that point, we need to educate our mind, we need to educate ourselves a lot. so that we can get to a point where, and it still goes down to the first step of human-centered design or design thinking, which is we have to care. We don't see, we don't, and thank God for, I mean, unfortunately, we are in this crisis right now. I mean, this pandemic, this coronavirus, everybody is in some sort of lockdown, and it is an opportunity for us to be able to reflect and say, what were the things that we did wrong? Where did we actually?
What matters? What matters in this life, really? What are the things that matter? I've asked myself that question a lot this whole lockdown period.
Yeah, you understand? So by the time you start reflecting, you will now begin to see that, okay, when you will now start caring for people, you empathize with people, you care for them, you genuinely care for them. All you want to create solutions for is, or every solution you want to create, you want to create it in such a way that it actually helps them. It actually moves them forward. It actually moves them from point A to point B. Whether it is food you're serving, whether it's a product you're designing, whatever it is, you are basically thinking of how you want to move. So in our own case, we should start thinking of how we want to move Nigerian forward, how we want to create Nigerian products, Nigerian services that can help Nigerians. The fact that you're a Nigerian, stand out anywhere that you are. So I watch a lot of movies, and you basically see, for example, if you're watching a war movie, and you basically see that all the kits that, you know, most of these foreign war movies, especially the ones from America, all the products they are wearing are American products, from the sunshades, which is basically, if you check it out really, you'll see Oakley. Most of the shades they wear is Oakley, most of the time. Yeah. You see them when they wear sneakers, is either you're wearing Nike, they are always wearing American products. We need to also get to that point, you know, where we have to start creating stuff for our consumption. You know, we need to start producing stuff for our own consumption. Nigerian first, then we export it to the world. And when we do it so well, we do it so well, innovation comes into play at some point, and we begin to see how we can, you know, use technology to enable it, use technology to make it better, use a technology. See, Chuma, and a lot of people might not agree with me. Yeah? What I'm about to tell you right now, we missed out in the first industrial revolution. We missed out in the second industrial revolution. The third industrial revolution, which we were actually doing, then the Civil War came, and they destroyed all of those things, destroyed all the industries in the East, destroyed, you know, I mean, right now, the East is actually supposed to be the industrial hub of this country. Yeah, where by now, it will be easier for us to enter into the fourth industrial revolution, which has come now. I mean, if we actually had all these processes well laid, all this foundation well laid, people won't be complaining about 5G now. People won't be complaining about 5G. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But we missed out on all those things. So we want to now jump up the gun. We missed out first, second, third. We want to now jump from 0 to 4th. And we've not laid any foundation down. Do you understand? Yeah. America went through all of those revolutions. Europe went through all of those revolutions. China went through all of those revolutions too. So we are now coming to say we want to jump. You need to go back to history. We need to learn, find hindsights from history, plug it in with insights of today, then begin to now visualize or have visions of tomorrow, have foresight for tomorrow. That's how we can basically, you know, begin to start designing products for us. And I mean, a lot of people are actually doing stuff that are making sense today. I mean, thank God we are going to probably do something with Tunde very soon. Tunde is someone that I'll also be following, and look at the way he has been infusing using OFI, you know, his sneakers, and he's using it to actually tell our stories, and it's doing well. It's actually doing well. If he continues with that for a long time, you'll begin to see innovation, you know, come up with those products, and eventually you'll get to a point where, yes, people would love to have it from any part of the world. Right now, people are actually loving it from any part of the world, but right now it needs to also scale. So there are a lot of factors that will still need to, you know, a lot of improvements, you know, in terms of structure, in terms of enlarging, you know, scaling it big time and all of that. So people are actually doing.
So I like your points. Very, 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 very punchy. I do hope that people get to start thinking like this. I mean, it's really about using technology that is available, right? Technology that is available to you. It's about using media. It's about creating a brand, building a brand. I was looking at a documentary on Bata yesterday. Apparently, it's owned by a Czech family. It's not even Nigerian. But what they've done is that for every country you go to, they make it seem like you are the owner. So the Nigerians in Nigeria think that Bata is Nigerian.
Yeah.
Kenya, they think that Bata is Kenya. In China, in Ghana. So brand building is an integral part of it. We have businesses like Mercedes, Heineken. How does a Dangote keep existing 100 years from now when the guy that started it is no longer alive? So we need to build brands. We need to use technology. We need to use media. We need to look at the economic viability of it. I was speaking to somebody that is the father of, more or less, the founding father of this, contemporary design in Nigeria. And one of the comments he made was, if you are not paid to engage in design work, please don't do it. I find that very profound because oftentimes in my career I've had to, I just take it. But for every time we do stuff for free, we engage in design work for free, we cheapen the practice and it comes back to bite us. So it takes a lot. You make a lot, you will go hungry. But the truth is that you need to put your price and always make sure that every design work you do is paid for. We need to start creating models that we need to look up to, right? So before now, we all used to look up to American music, for instance. Now we have Nigerian music. There's enough model. There's enough model for us. I'm not going to go into whether it's good or bad, but we have our own model. We have Nollywood. In architecture, we are beginning to see our own style, though we've not even gotten anywhere yet. We still do a lot of building houses that are not fit for human living. I don't know how that happened, but we need to do a lot of innovation in living spaces, in architecture, in our fashion. I don't know why people wear suits, jackets under the hot sun. I mean, you can wear it inside the office, but under the hot sun, I don't know.
You understand?
We must start engaging our communities. We must start doing social. We must start experiencing and responding socially to our problems. Right? We must tell our own stories. We must document. We must record. Part of what we're doing now is to record our own narrative and put it out there so that people know that these guys are human beings and these guys. So yes, this is all of what we should be doing. Stemming from thinking like a designer, this is what designers do, unknowingly. But now that you need to be conscious of it so that you can better handle it and utilize it effectively.
Be conscious, be deliberate.
Next, it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you so much.
You have any parting words for not just the upcoming designers or professionals, but the community at large, the governments, social structures?
And I think one of the things I want to say is the thing you've been preaching, and that is we need to come together and collaborate. We need to be able to come together and collaborate. One of the things I learned in my pursuit for to become a sneaker designer was, especially in Pencil Academy. So basically, you can't go in solo. They basically, you have to go in as a team. So either you apply as a footwear designer, that is, you do sketches, blah, 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 or you go as a brand designer where you basically know how to sell the concept, know how to pitch it, know how to
the product.
Exactly, how to design it as a brand. Or you go as a material designer where you know what material to use on the sneakers, you know what to use as midsole, you know what to use at the outsole, you know what to use for the upper, you know what to use and all of those things. And if you look at every industry also, you can't go solo. Even in the one we are likely doing today, you can't be the UI UX designer, you can't be the software developer, you can't be the product manager, you can't be everything at the same time. You can't kill, and that's what our problem is. Because you want to, and it goes back to me saying, that survival mode thing. You need to shift our mindset from trying to survive. We need to start thinking of legacy. We need to start thinking of structures we can lay down, And collaboration is at the heart of this. We have to start looking at how we can collaborate with, like-minded people, that believe in the same thing that we believe in. You might not find them everywhere, but I'm sure there are people like that amongst us. So that's what we need to start doing now. And we need to read a lot. We need to be able to, there are two things a designer must have. You must have very good imaginations, and you must also know things. So basically, you read a lot. You read anything and everything. And you also, open your eyes to see things. You see movies, you see designs, you see all sorts of things, so that it can help your imagination, and you know how to combine those things. Because right now, our country, the thing they are preaching everywhere now is we need to look inward, we need to look inward, we need to look inward. And looking inwards means we need to start looking at our people, we need to start appreciating our people, we need to start caring for our people, we need to start looking at the next person close to you and really ask questions. For you to know what problem that guy is facing, you need to ask series and layers of questions before you actually get to the root of what is actually wrong with him. So we need, and if you don't care, you can't get to that bottom of, of that problem. So that's my parting words. Thank you, Chuma. This is a very great opportunity. God bless you for the things you are doing. And I think
thank you, Lex, for always offering yourself. It's not easy coming out of your schedule to many talks. Yeah, so thanks a lot. I do hope that people, anybody that watches this, will be able to have learning points that they take, and then at the end of the day, we would have contributed to society and improving our world. Thank you, Lex, for coming. Yeah.
All right, Baba. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, have a nice day, bro.